We were talking about picks to watch. Obviously, Gnar, Viego, Azir, Talia, Renata. Those are things that we absolutely have to keep an eye on. We won't get a lot of those bans in the first round here, though, as Vi, Kalista, and LeBlanc banned by LNG. We get the Renekton. I was going to say Renata. Azeri and the Poppy banned by BLG. It's a first pick Wukong for Tarzan.
First pick, gonna go over. Now for BLG, I mean, you still have things like the Sivir Yumi available. Trundle, of course, one of our go-to answers into the Wukong. Strong skirmishing in the early game. You have the ability to take away those resistances later on. So I'd expect the Trundle to be locked and loaded. Now I wonder if they want to go towards something like that Sivir, or maybe look for a bit of a takeaway. Because we saw in LNG's last series, they were actually opting into the Aphelios over the Sivir in their last series. So you could even look for a bit of a takeaway if you'd want to go that direction.
Right, so they go ahead and get the Tarzan counter here maybe a little bit. We get the Trundle coming through here. And the Draven! Oh. Some confidence coming out of the bottom lane for BLG.
And it's going to be Doggo's first Draven so far this split. I mean, going to look for that aggressive route. I wonder how LNG will look to match. I mean, you do have your own aggressive option up, right? Lucian was left through the draft if they did want to try and go toe-to-toe with that. But we highlighted, right? Last series, it was a lot of them opting in towards the Aphelios. Doonby actually said in the post-match interview that they felt like they were too rushed in their series for most of the split, and it caused them to throw a lot of games. So maybe feeling more comfortable to just get a bit of an insurance policy for your late game. And now Ala going to go straight towards the Kennen, and he's going to be the one looking to dominate up in that top side. We haven't even really had a chance to talk about top lane because you have Ala versus Bin, two top laners who really want to scrap.
Absolutely. I do love that LNG are full inning on like a team fight composition here with the setup for light. But yeah, that top lane, I am just waiting to see what Ben pulls into this one because I do expect a lot of that hard-hitting volatility at the top side of the map. We do have the Sejuani coming in, so maybe not as hard-hitting, but at least less hard-hit, I guess. Some armor, some defense.
So yeah, Bin gonna look to be, he's accepting he's gonna be the less volatile part of the map, right? He already has a Draven on the board. He knows that BLG should be looking to play around the spot side, so he opts into a champion that, right, even if Sejuani could get punished, you expect her to get poked out by the range coming in from Kennen early on, pre-6, that he'll at least be able to farm up just fine and allow BLG to put their resources in the right places. Now, both teams putting those bans towards mid lane, I think that is definitely the pool that is most exploitable coming in, especially because of the differences we talk in the champion pools. For Duinby, been leaning on things like the Akali, also has the Sylas in the cards as well if they wanted another AP option to look towards.
Yeah. Oh my god, we're just getting all the mid lane bans here. They know just as us that this mid lane is so important. We get that Lissandra ban, the Talia ban as well, so some of that mobility taken away, and really just looking to see if we just get a fourth consecutive mid lane ban because of how important these two guys can be.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the Azir ban, like I said, just because I don't feel like Duinby really has any great answers into that pick. It should allow Icon to just play the laning phase just fine, but no. Instead, opting to take away the Renata. When Renata came out, Crisp was the player who gravitated towards it the fastest, and in my opinion was the best Renata that we had in the league. So,
and he was one of the
look now.
He was one of the first ones to whip out, the Flash Renata ulti and do so effectively, right? It was actually incredible to watch him pilot this new champion. So, got to take that one away for sure, I feel like.
Yeah, now we're going to see what Icon decides to go with. Right now, hovering the Ahri, so I'm interested to see what Duinby will look to pick into this, because I don't know if it would work here, but Duinby's been practicing a bunch of Nocturne mid in solo queue, and it's actually usually bid into the Ahri matchup. They do have AP damage up in the top side, but still might not be enough to come through. We'll instead just go with the Leona for now. So LNG are playing this heavy dive all into the backline composition. A lot of threats so far on Doggo with this Draven.
Oh, they get it! He done did it, Lyric. He went ahead and locked that in. I don't even see a big smile on his face right now. He's just all business.
I'm so excited. Like I said, it's one of the picks he's been practicing. He's also been playing mid lane Pantheon, so we might get some spicy treats throughout the day. And we already said LNG's comp just looking for that all-in potential. So far, it looks like they're trying to decide what type of peel they want to bring to the table, right? Of course, Thresh, you have the Lantern there, but the quickness could also do a great job of locking many people down. They're going to opt into going with the Thresh. So having some decent pick tools coming through, right? We have the Charm for the Aru. We have Death Sentence on the bot lane. Pillar can set either of those up very easily to hit that single target CC. I'd say not the best team fighting, but also they do have damage there on the table and they have a decent front line. The hard thing will be being able to survive Ala coming in on a flank, Tarzan jumping in with the Cyclone, Doinby just popping his ultimate.
Yeah.
It could be a bit of a rough one for Doggo in that bot lane.
So it's obviously like level 6 for Doinby when he'll get involved, right? And really be on the side lane roams or even just getting the execution off for the ultimate. But in all actuality for them, it's obviously like a very scaling late game team, right? They want to go for those team fights, but it is Doinby who's going to be that bridge, I feel like, here.
I feel like for LNG, they're sitting pretty fine in terms of being able to make it through the early game. I mean, top lane, they should be able to do just fine. Again, I don't feel like a lot of kill pressure's there until 6 for the Sejuani, and then you typically want to link up with Weiwei or Icon making the roam over. Bot lane as well, you have the range with the Aphelios when you do have the Caliburn available, so at least the first few levels will be fine. And yeah, I mean, then it'll just be about level 6 coming online, and their whole top side will be incredibly strong.
Hey, we'll see how it all pans out. We are in a do or die best of 5 in the LPL Summer Playoffs. This will determine who goes on and who goes home, whose season ends. It is LNG versus BLG. It is Doinby versus Icon. It is volatility across the map, and LNG hoping that the Friends of the Forest come to their aid, while BLG sitting there with a hot powder keg ready to explode. It is a wonderful night here in the LPL as we hit Summoner's Rift.
We said it coming into the game, Mazel. Both of these teams having a similar story. Both on paper, very solid rosters that should be competing for top slots. I mean, Tarzan, Doinby on one side. Heck, Ala having gone to Worlds before.
Oh,
no! Level 1!
Crisp! No! First blood to LNG. That ain't how you want to see it go down.
No, that's exactly what you want to see, Mazel. We come in here, we're like, let's get a bit of narrative out there. I love the LPL. Screw the narrative. Get rid of that. We only get the action.
Oh, my goodness. Crisp going to be a little bit salty after that one for sure. We're actually going to see the setup in the bottom. It's just going for some vision here, but I guess just not expecting the positioning there from LNG.
No, not reading that they'd be stacking this rush, but just really good. I think level 1s are something that are just so strong at investing when coming into a best of 5. I remember back when I was a coach and, my team was going to Worlds. It's like, okay, what's the most bang for our buck we can get in terms of time investment? And sometimes it's just spending, 15, 20 minutes talking and thinking about a level 1 for each game. Because if you can start finding those early leads, that can really just snowball out of control. The lucky thing for the side of BLG, at least no summoners wasted, because, if you had blown a flash in that situation, then that could go to really affect the dynamic of your lane. For now, just going to give a bit of gold over, and of course, Tarzan being able to pick up that early longsword.
And hey, Friends of the Forest already helping them out. They're getting the lead that we needed them to get for LNG. We said it is all about the man in the loincloth swinging around, trying to get as much done as he can. I think at this, it is now looking at Tarzan that how do you use this? How do you continue to kind of put the pedal to the metal here for them, especially in terms of maybe disrupting Weiwei some extent or getting more ganks off, getting a little bit more of that pressure off?
Well, could have potentially looked towards the top side. He might even still go for it, but I believe he was. Yep, he's spotted out on a ward right now, so Bin shouldn't be able to fall prey to this, but he did path up towards his top side, opening up that opportunity to look for the ganks, but nothing going to be able to come through for now. So honestly, might have a bit of a slower time. Weiwei going to look towards bot, but Light and Lumao are so healthy. This one could be rough. We'll see if Lumao's able to hit level 2.
That's a pretty big wave. He's got Severum, though, so a lot of healing. And then Lumao with that level 2. They're going to try it anyways, though. They're going in full focus on the Light. The CC onto Crisp. He has to flash, but he takes the tower shot. It's a trade back. Doggo gets a kill, though, and that's huge for the Draven, but the kill goes right back to Light, so ADC's trading it down. They're trying to keep the pressure here with this huge minion wave, and Weiwei's just going to go in. Doggo's tanking the tower. He gets stunned. He cleanses. Lumao goes down. Weiwei flashes. It's summoner spells all over the place. Icon as well. Just go ahead and turn on the carousel right now, Lyric. I don't know if you've got the button, but Lyric will... Oh, I was going to say, will he get out? But it's Light that picks up another kill. That's 2 for the Aphelios.
LNG kind of ended up trading up. Weiwei went down in the dive as well. The one silver lining for BLG is Light lost out on that huge wave, so nice CS advantage now being made for Doggo. But that's why we'll see if Crisp can get anything done. I don't think so. Tarzan will manage to get out of here. But That's why we were saying this dive could be a little bit dicey, because sure, you have this big wave, but at the same time, there was no real heavy trading able to come through. Both members of LNG's bot lane were still at full HP, so we're gonna see how Icon goes down. Tarzan just coming over, able to find it. Flash does come through, but I mean, at the end of the day, right, you're in enemy territory. It's going to be really easy for any member of LNG to come from the opposing way and guarantee this kill.
And honestly, right, like perfect timing for Light to just come up and scoop up the kills. I am looking at that bottom lane, though, because it was on his way back to the lane. Actually, Doggo has a pretty big item differential in that bottom lane. I don't know if it's going to mean the difference, but Tarzan is trying to make the difference down here as well. Wei right behind him, though. Tarzan did get spotted out on that ward, and Crisp is actually stepping up here.
Wei also has the level advantage, so they're in a pretty strong place of power. Even having the Sheen, just overall, I feel like combat stats should be in favor of BLG. I think they're being a little bit hesitant for the fact that no summoners coming out across the board for their side, to where both Tarzan and Light still having their flashes up.
Oh, it turns out we'll just get a little bit of a standstill in the bottom lane. All those summoners fell apart, but again, it is that that riskiness factor with BLG having burned a majority of theirs. So like the call, both playing a bit reserved here. And since we have a little bit of time, right, I want to go back to a bit of history for these teams. I have to shout out LNG. It's summer 2021, right? Round 2, all the way to regionals, all the way to worlds. They do not want to stop here in the first round of playoffs, Lyric. And so far, right, with all the trades, with everything's going down, they're setting themselves up nicely.
They are, and you know, funnily enough, BLG was actually on the same side of their bracket last year in that playoffs. Not able to do anything with it, though. BLG as an org haven't really done anything in playoffs since 2019 summer. So getting past this round and making some kind of run is what BLG as an organization are looking for. But speaking of looking for, Doinby now level 6, we're going to start seeing these opportunities come through. And I'd expect it to be probably down towards enabling that bot side. For LNG, you're going to want to look to start getting some control of vision, but Wei might look for an opportunity in Olive first. Bin's really close to level 6, so waiting for that Glacial Prison, I think, to come online before they commit to a play.
He's going to just play a little bit aggressive. He does get that level 6 mark, but it is Wei going back to his Krugs. Again, it's just kind of farming up. For me, going back to the focus on the mid lane here, with Doinby having that level 6 mark, wanting to see some of that proactivity with the paranoia there. But I'm looking at Icon, right, with the Spirit Rush, with a little bit of that mobility in the mid lane to try and either be a blocker or be a bodyguard at some point and try to get his own advantages in terms of proactivity. We finally get that revisit back top lane. We'll get the Slicing Maelstrom from Ala. He gets CC'd up, does get the Glacial Prison. That's just a solo. Oh, the flash comes out from Ala. Nicely timed.
That was extremely close. If Ben had been a little bit more patient, maybe Wei could have been up towards topside to combo for this play. Oh, reset gets canceled. Now he's no flash. He's nowhere to go.
He has nothing to do except die. Ben picks up the kill.
Nice find coming for the side of BLG. Plates going over as well. You're denying even more minions. So to where LNG have been able to get the upper hand in terms of a lot of these kills, we can see lanes so far going in favor of the side of BLG. For bot lane, a little bit expected. Top, we're now some jungle pressure come through, and mid. I mean, one of the reasons why we saw Nocturne kind of fall out of favor was never a big pick in the mid lane, right? But was this niche pick for a while. Because sometime last year, I remember his passive got nerfed to where it does reduce damage to minions. It actually got buffed last patch to where now your passive on the primary minion you're targeting still does full damage. So trying to help with that pushing power a little bit. Still not exactly what it used to have. But point is, you can look to contend with the push that Ari has, which is why he's been able to stay relatively even in CS mid lane.
It's actually been very relaxing to this point where we had that level 1, we had that craziness, and then we've had a couple minutes of like very reserved gameplay, especially from these two junglers.
Thanks, Mizel.
That's what I'm trying. I'm trying to do that here. I'm putting all my energy into this jinx right now because I'm trying to see what Wei is attempting to do, right? He's right on the cusp of that level 6. We've seen him, waiting out plays a lot of the time, but he hasn't been able to find anything just yet.
For Wei, he's looking for a play on top side because if they can find this kill, they can try and pivot this into Herald.
They do get the CC chain down. Is Wei going to have the difference here in damage? Slicing Maelstrom comes away. That's Glacial Prison at the last second, though. Ben gets himself a second kill.
It also brings Wei to level 6. They now have numbers in this top side. You'd expect him to look to start up this Herald because they didn't even have to utilize too many resources in terms of mana or health to find the kill. But Tarzan right now hovering in the area. Wei has to be careful because Doinb does have that paranoia up, and Icon's actually leaning and hovering down for his bot lane. Finally moving now.
He's going to move up this way. Tarzan just going in with the aggression. Here comes the paranoia. They have a lot of AoE damage there as well. Bin not going to go down yet. Does fall to Doinb. Tarzan's still alive. They get Wei. That's a huge flash on Wei. And now Icon all by himself. Somehow Tarzan survived the entire time. And a triple kill for super carry Doinb.
We just see the impact of the paranoia able to come out. Cyclone as well, locking down numerous members. I think it could have been a little bit different had Icon been there a little bit sooner. Maybe you dissuade the play from coming through. You could be ready with a charm to buy even more time and then have the numbers from the kill you found, but they weren't able to do it. So LNG able to pick up the Herald. We're going to instantly go into the replay. We're actually going pretty far back. We're going all the way to the top kill. I don't even know if there's too much to see here. As Ward comes out, ooh, we actually got the control ward down at the same time because I remember we saw Wei place that, in real time as this was happening. And right, since they both have ults up, I guess Bin having ult up means that it should be pretty guaranteed. Ala is able to get the stun come through in the end with a slicing maelstrom, but doesn't mean too much in Spin. Very smart to hold the glacial prison.
And then we just see Tarzan making the call here, right? Like he is swinging in on a vine right now. It's actually incredible that he has the confidence to do that play, stay in the fight because Doinb's right next to him.
Yeah, I still think it could have made so much difference that Icon not lean down towards bot side first because you see the immediate kill is pretty much a 2v2. So that's why LNG able to take that one. Sure, Tarzan gets very low, but could have been a whole different story had Icon already been there, not been hovering for his bot lane, but still, LNG able to get the Herald. Now really starting to cement themselves with these mythics coming out. 2 on the board, only 1 on the opposing side. Doggo does have his Eclipse, so Draven still seems like the win condition that BLG need to all in on. But Tarzan and Light know that.
Hey, they're putting some of that focus there. Light's finally saying, like, finally, guys! He gets, it's so close. One more auto from Shelly. Nope, it's not going to be there. So one little tiny health bar for the turret. Doesn't go down, so they won't get first tower yet, but that is 4 plates for them at least. And again, that refocus on the bottom lane. It's still the item difference they pointed out here. Like, LNG find a way to come back, right? BLG were up almost 2,000 gold because of some of the top lane shenanigans. Speaking of top lane shenanigans, Hala finds himself on the wrong side of town here. Will be able to dodge out and get away from Ben. But again, that craziness has been tempered a little bit. I think LNG finding a very calm way to keep themselves in the game, and now Doinb feeling very, very confident as he goes straight into the bottom lane. Oh, Crisp, you never had a chance. That's a huge amount of damage, and Light picking up yet another kill.
And this is actually really good for the side of LNG because Bin TP down here as well to try to be part of the play. They don't get anything for it, and now Ala can start having some alone time up with this topside turret. It will lead to BLG being able to get the dragon, but I think LNG going to be happy with the injection of gold they're getting on both sides of the map.
Absolutely. That's why I had like a little bit of a downturn there because I was like, man. It feels really bad. I mean, they almost get all 5 plates in the bottom lane for Light, and now they have so much pressure in the top lane as well. So it's up to next movements for BLG. Obviously, that dragon you pointed out, very big, very late though. 12 minutes in. It's a little bit of a late stacking dragon, but I think they'll be okay as long as they keep this pressure around, or at least the defensive pressure around Doinb, because I think he's really the difference maker right now.
For BLG, I think it's going to be so rough with this paranoia. BLG have already done a pretty good job at keeping bot side river warded. They've been doing a great job controlling, trying to find information where Doinb is, but sometimes it won't always be there. Now Doinb,
3 members.
no flash.
Yeah, three members from BLG trying to collapse onto him. Leaving Light in the bottom lane to claim first turret for himself. So Light's not too shabby in this one either, 3-1, but it's a lot of gold from those turrets, and he's already got a 300 bounty on him as well.
Now for LNG, we already talked about how well they can do in these team fights, especially when you're going up against this Draven that you could just so easily delete with the amount of backline access that LNG have. They can just keep snowballing forward. Herald gonna come in 1 minute and 50 seconds. So you've already gotten bot wave pushed out. You can start getting control of top side, get some deep wards down, even just playing for this top lane turret. You can see Light heading up there right now. For BLG, I don't really think there's an opportunity to cross map. You kind of have to look to cover the play, look to contest that vision, and try not to give that Rift Herald over for free.
Absolutely. I think it's a lot of that objective focus. And something else I want to bring up that we said in the beginning of the day, right? LNG, we've had question marks around them in their mid to late game objective setup in terms of getting ready for the fights, getting in position, because we're seeing them force a lot of things. But when in a position like this, where they have a big lead and they have a lot of pressure coming out of DoinB in the mid lane, and having the safety of a slicing maelstrom from Ala to come into these little skirmishes, it feels like they are setting themselves up nicely here, and BLG are just trying to find a way to get into the army.
I think BLG right now making the right move. We said, I think not a great opportunity to cross map on the bottom half of the map. Giving up this Herald could just blow up the whole game, considering LNG already have that 3K gold lead with all the ults on the table. I like that BLG are looking for it, but like we said, BLG, a little bit more of a pick comp, so if they can find the bot lane, that would be huge.
Oh, Crisp is left out by his lonesome. Moonlight Vigil comes through. He's got the rest of his team, but he goes down to Light, and Lumao is the focus now, so it'll be traded back. Doggo gets the kill, and that is huge, but it's just the trade of supports.
Ooh, look though, for LNG, they have wards behind, and Ala's using them.
He goes in on the Doggo on the backside. They're trying to get him down. They have Ala with them flank as well. You said that is so crucial, and LNG are capitalizing on the overextension of BLG. Icon tries to come over. Ben is just going to find his way out, but it is tragedy after BLG find themselves on the wrong side of the map.
For BLG, I feel like it was just so rough starting out, considering Crisp going down while his team had numbers advantage on that top side. Is going to potentially open up for LNG to just outright take this Herald. DoinB isn't base right now, so it'll be a little bit dicey. Sure, there's no smite up on the side of BLG, but I thought maybe if they'd look to at least posture, they won't even do that. You can see Icon staying up in top side to catch the wave, and Ben just going to make his way down to that blue buff.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay of that. It looked like BLG were collapsing beautifully, right? Like, they were set up here. But Chris, like, the backing of Doggo to try to catch the axe, and then as well just the damage from Light and you know, Lumao.
Yeah, just so rough, right? You're the team with more numbers on this top side. You already have one member go down, and beautiful flank ward behind where BLG is to bring TPs in. And then Tarzan, BLG, you guys are diving into a Wukong. You know the Aphelios is there as well. I just feel like it's an overcommit on the trigger, but I think they don't have a ton of confidence going into a straight-up 5v5 because of what we've highlighted. So they're trying to find these fights where they think they have numbers advantage before they could really lose out to the backline access that LNG's comp brings.
They are just punishing Ala at this point constantly. Glacial Prison goes wide. The pillar is there, but now the turret shot's coming through. It's still an easy pickup kill for BLG on the bottom side of the map.
So they are going to be able to find something, but for LNG dropping Herald top, this is going to guarantee a turret. And I mean, they should be able to get the charge on the inhibitor turret as well. So trade up so far for the side of LNG. Paranoia back up for DoinB. LNG are pretty much prime and set up to look to make plays.
Yeah.
If anyone of BLG shows in that topside jungle on top of Vision, if Tarzan's around, and DoinB still sitting in that mid lane, member of BLG will just be dead.
And I want to harken back to like the composition from LNG, the way they drafted. We talked about it. This is a solo queue special for DoinB, especially recently. He's whipping it out. He was, or is at least, the bridge that's being built right now. His proactivity from the mid lane, that early fight around Rift Herald, the calls from Tarzan to go in aggressively, it has worked so well for them to have an advantage. But the entire time, we have 3 turrets that have gone down to Light. We have so much gold on this Aphelios, and the team fights are going to be terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, Light already being on his Lord Dominix as well. It looks like LNG want to try and find an avenue into this Drake, but it's going to be hard. BLG already have this one locked in. We'll see if LNG can find a fight, but the Pillar doing a great job of stopping Tarzan.
It is something we said earlier, right? LNG sometimes force route objectives. We've seen that for BLG as well, but in these early trades, right, BLG going to be fine with the setup they had for the second Dragon, and that's at least something working in their favor stacking-wise. We have an Infernal Dragon on the board, so a little bit of damage added to the BLG composition would be huge, but you can expect LNG to up the ante around these fights and around these objectives.
Got to be careful, though. One thing we didn't actually really talk about early in the game was some of the summoner spell choices we had come out, because Ben actually opted into the exhaust in that top side, which not only could have helped him out in lane, right, in terms of if Ala would have looked for an all-in with that Slicing Maelstrom, but also going to be key in team fights, because Ala and DoinB, 2 targets that you want to have that exhaust on. BLG having exhaust on both Crisp and Ben. We'll see if those come in handy now. BLG want to find a fight.
Trying to force this tower so hard. I want to say we have the gold graph come up, and it's actually incredible to see how close Doggo is to Light because of those adoration stack pickups and as well as just the consistent farming. So at least you have that going for you, right? Doggo will be no slouch in terms of damage. He has the Eclipse and the Essence Reaper now.
We could see as well, LNG's comp much better at being able to play out through sides. They're going to use the pressure. All
They're
to go for the dive.
Doonby in the back line. The spell shield doesn't help him. Slicing Maelstrom onto 3 members, but that's the Gravitum as well following it up. Just a lot of poke damage. It was all for the tower. Here comes Ben on the side. Icon a little bit hesitant to go forward. Ben not able to pull the trigger on the Glacial Prison. A reluctancy to go in, but I think it's good for BLG to back away.
LNG overall did gain a turret. Ults traded across both sides. The only flash to go down looks like it was Doonby, so not too much lost, and they were able to break down that mid lane turret, which is going to be nice, right? It opens up both quadrants of the jungle even more easily from the fact that they already have broken down side lane turrets. So whether it's, getting vision for Baron or when we're inching closer to the Drake timers, LNG should have an easy time of getting some of those deep wards in, and with all his TP being up once again, with Doonby having that TP, BLG going to definitely have to do their best to clear out vision in their own territory to make sure those flanks don't come through, and also just making sure you always have a member marking behind you to spot out where those members are coming from.
Yeah, it's all about the flanks for Alo. We already saw it come out huge in that top side once, and it's going to be even bigger around this objective coming up here. But I do want to check in on BLG a little bit here. We're talking about them as kind of a powder keg, right? Like a strong start, but a little bit of a lackluster finish here. And I feel like we didn't get that exactly strong start. We got some of that trading back and forth. But BLG as a whole, they're really going to have to step up in these next, mid to late game moments to kind of change that narrative.
I feel like for BLG, it's pretty rough because you kind of need multiple members sitting near or on top of Doggo to make sure Doonby plus Tarzan doesn't do too much.
Allah's on the flank.
Allah might have it.
He doesn't have flash, so he can't get it, but he's going to pop it anyways. They have a lot of damage on the Crisp, and now Ben looking to be that front line, going right back in. Oh, Icon picking up a kill to Allah. They don't have the front line as much anymore, but Light whips out the Moonlight Vigil, backing away a lot of members from BLG.
Still, though, I mean, we see it right there for BLG. I feel like that's what they need. They need to be able to play off of LNG's aggression coming into them. They don't have a lot of great ways, in my mind, to force into what LNG have, other than trying to find those isolated picks, which LNG haven't given the opportunity for. If they can stay in this close-knit formation, make it rough for anyone to come in and just outright delete Doggo, then there'll always be a chance to win once the first rotation of spells comes out from LNG, right? Because LNG's comp is very one punch KO. There's only one slicing Maelstrom, only one paranoia. I guess 2 presses of Cyclone, but you get what I mean, right? Once those abilities are down, BLG can try and win on the retreat.
Yeah, something else we got to point out here with a minute until the next dragon, and I was saying LNG might want to up the ante on the pressure around these objectives. They're going with some tanky stats here, right? We got maybe the best stance a little bit less so, but Tarzan whipping that out as the second item completion, but it's Doonby with that Randuin's, that tankiness. And he has just been I'm going to go in, let's distract. If we get kills, that's awesome. But they utilized it so beautifully around the mid lane last time. And that's some of that utility you're getting from the Nocturne from Doonby.
It's also just Doonby showing that the only damage he feels like he has to respect is Doggo's. Ox was talking about it yesterday about Ahri not really being the highest damage, mid lane mage assassin in the game. He did go with the Leandri, so we'll be trying to do a bit more to those frontline members of LNG, kind of accepting his role of having to deal with whatever challenger tries to approach on the back line. And BLG so far just continuing having to give up side waves against LNG, which is even just letting this gold lead slowly inch higher. Because right now, sitting at 5K, but BLG at least a team who, if they could pick this dragon, would be sole point.
I mean, I guess they're not technically fourth, but they feel like they are. They have a minion wave, going into the top side of the map, but they need to feel at least like they need to fight over this dragon here. And the setup for them is nice. They'll be here, but now the flank from Allah, they're going to try to get the engagement off early, but Tarzan, they're distracting again. The utility is huge, and here comes Allah from around the block, and everybody from BLG is terrified. LNG is going to sweep through the rest of BLG. Maybe they left Allah out. Oh! They left Allah out to dry.
That hurts. For LNG, though, I mean, they did a great job. The coordinated engage, get right on top of Doggo, and you just don't have the peel necessary to keep him safe from the amount of threat that is there from LNG's composition. With multiple members down, I wouldn't be surprised if they start heading towards that Baron, but we'll see it here. They've been doing such a great job of keeping these back wards there. Light immediately having to cleanse up from the play, but look, Paranoia straight on top of Doggo. Sure, he gets away, but once Ala gets in, there you go. All BLG members have to be grouped in one place to try to peel for their AD carry. He goes golden, but the damage has already been done. All of LNG's members already low from the Cyclone Slicing Maelstrom combination.
The duality of a 5-man Slicing Maelstrom into death. You saw him scratching his head there. He's like, I could have survived. But it's actually incredible from LNG. And it's a little bit of, falling asleep at the wheel, I feel like, for BLG. We've seen they've been setting up these flanks, and they fell right into the trap.
I really feel like for BLG it is hard. It's kind of great, the Kennen plus Nocturne combo.
Yeah.
Because, right, since you have Kennen and Wukong jumping in, like for BLG, they feel like they have to be there to protect Doggo. They have to be in a close radius. Who loves that? Kennen. Kennen loves that you're being grouped up so close-knit. Like, think about that last fight. BLG looked like they were in a Jarvan ulti,
yeah.
with just how they were all right on top of each other. It sets up perfectly. Now we'll see for LNG, probably going to opt into playing out through 2 lanes, picking up blue now. He could go up top as Tarzan might be caught out.
He does have the clone there, though, so a lot of aggression for BLG, but Paranoia is going to be popped as they might look for the re-engage here. Ben is just out. He's all by himself. Uh-oh. Okay, do it, B. Okay, do it, B. He's trying to take a 1v4. That ain't going to work out for him. Icon gets the kill, but it's traded for Ben.
I have no words.
I don't know why he was there.
I don't know what Doonby's thought process was in terms of how he's going to be able to get out of there, or even if he thought he could find a kill on someone and trade 1 for 1. Don't know how that's worth, but okay, Doonby, you did it. LNG, though, do still manage to pick up a bot lane turret, are going to keep trucking forward. This is a 4v4, but Icon misses everything.
He can't hit the charms. LNG just have a resistance to the charms at this point. It will be Lumau's flash, though. The light is trying to pop off here with the Gale Force forward. It's an inhib in trouble here, though. As they move forward, they take this inhib, and a huge wave of pressure now going to be on the bottom side against BLG.
And it's just rough, right? Because Tarzan was actually pushing in the mid wave that whole time. But considering your only engage options there with Ben dead are Charm or Death Sentence, that was BLG's prime opportunity to try and find a fight where they have a 4v3, but not able to connect any of the abilities they need. At least BLG should be able to keep hold of this red buff. And at this point, with an 8k gold lead, Mazel, BLG will take what they can get.
Oh, absolutely. You take as many picks as you can possibly find. And we'll actually get a replay of that, so maybe we get to see exactly what happened.
Okay, so they all in onto this 2-man play on bot side, and Tarzan goes in for that. But yeah, I think this is the cool thing, right? Weiwei feels like he has to back off, which leaves the Sejuani by himself because the Paranoia comes through. Just to be pushing that button puts so much pressure on that core to not be able to walk forward to help Ben. I just don't think there was a reason for Doonby to follow it through. Hitting the Paranoia the first time, putting the pressure there, great. The recast, it was fun.
Okay, it was the lantern, all right? That's what baited him. He didn't expect. He saw Weiwei out in the jungle near his teammates. Like, I'm going to do that, but he didn't expect
we might have more action
lantern.
already.
All right, I feel you, okay? I feel you, Doonby. I see you. But yeah, the top lane is the pressure. Crisp can't get the death sentence to land here, and it's going to continue to be in the mid lane at least. Pressure from LNG as they have Ala pushing that. Doonby's in the top side as a distraction, as a way of putting more pressure in to leave Ala in his own. They could just look at all 3 inhibs at this point.
It makes it so easy to play this 2-lane setup when you already have an inhibitor down in bot side. They're walking forward aggressively just to posture and threaten the opportunity of a dive to come through, but it's going to allow them to take this
Look
inhibitor.
At this. They have super minions on the bottom. They have to deal with them as well, but they can't right now. They're going to try to defense around this mid lane potentially because the top side inhib is already gone, but LNG are going to be able to collapse onto this if Ala can actually push in this minion wave.
Again, they're just keeping the pressure there, waiting for the wave to come in with the Kennen while Doonby threatening on that side. BLG really have an impossible task. And we've already seen LNG consistently winning out in team fights. And that's with us not having to talk about Light at all. And he's massive. We can already see the damage he's putting onto Ben.
That's Paranoia popped. Ala's on the side. He's got the flank here with the TP. He's got to pop the Slicing Maelstrom. He gets down. Moonlight Vigil. Everyone's getting jiggy with it. And LNG, they are sweeping through BLG at this point. Yes, Ala goes down, but that is, at this point, tradition for this first game. Doggo's trying to outplay Light, but there is no way Jose and LNG, through domination from early game to the finish, will take game number 1 of this best of 5.
I love the idea that LNG came into this series with. We've already gotten to see the special preparations coming through, the Nocturne that Dunabe's been preparing specifically for the Ahri matchup, having, you know, other things come out like the Kennen in topside, the Wukong Avatars, just this all-in dive composition makes it so hard, you know, for Doggo to be able to play the game, and they really just executed on it so well. They did a great job at, you know, finding their own aggressive plays, whether it was around, you know, top side of the map or bot once the Paranoia came online, but even being able